Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 256 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news as we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with my co host this week,
My name is Greg. Pleasure.
and while we are not accompanied by other Craig as
Of
well,
course.
we
Yes.
are always accompanied by the news.
Yes. He's in our hearts and our minds, but the news is all around us.
News is always there. So it's been kind of light. We are heading into video game season here with September, October just around the corner. So we aren't getting too much, but we are getting a couple things. A little bit of it is Pokemon with Pokemon ZA is going to be playable at Pokemon Worlds that is in Anaheim this week. So you can sign up to and you have to have a certain pass in order to play Pokemon ZA. We'll see if we get anything new out of that. I kind of doubt it. I doubt it's much more different than anything we've seen already, but
Right.
we usually don't see these games go like playable like during an event or something like that, especially from Pokemon. So
Yeah.
maybe
That's
they and not that there's enough time to change the game as is if the impressions are bad, but
right.
we could we this is a different side and Pokemon did it and I'll talk about it later in a news story as well, but it seems like other places are kind of doing it where they usually don't.
Right.
Speaking of Pokemon as well, the Pokemon TCG art drama
Mm,
has come to a close with now they are going to be putting out new arts for the Ho-Oh and Lugia with the
mm-hmm.
more recent pack. I just find that whole situation is quite insane. The fact that people remember the promo art for a poster that was plagiarized off of for this art, so it's all over the place. But I haven't
Right.
seen really that kind of, I guess, what's the word for it? That kind of outrage over something, or
Right.
yeah, like it's like we do see AI art and enragement over a lot of things lately when it comes to AI and art, but this was just something where like it kind of if you take a look at the picture especially of Ho Ho, it's literally the same pose just with a different kind of background. So,
Right. Well, with something as large scale as that, everybody are they're gonna remember the finer details.
yeah,
Um,
Pokemon, that is true.
right.
And then speaking of like other things that aren't usually been happening, from a company side, Spider-Man Brand New Day is just posting a whole bunch of stuff. They're
Right.
posting that they're going to be using practical effects this time. There's a lot of behind the siege footage of Tom Holland on a tank, and they've, shown off the new costume he's going to be wearing for this movie. But
Right.
compared to the other three movies, they never did this. It
Right.
was all about keeping it secret and trying to stop spoilers. And even Tom Holland mentioned that there were like guests that they invited to watch, the shooting of the stunts and everything like that. So
Right.
I'm not. I was just surprised to see that they're doing that. Like Marvel is very tight sealed about what gets shown off. Like we didn't see any, stunts for Avengers Endgame or something like any of the big Marvel series really at all. But we're seeing it with Spider-Man Brand New Day.
How do you feel as a fan of seeing that much? Because with marketing's tricky because if you give us too much, we don't like it. Sometimes depending on the movie or the media itself, if you don't give us enough, it could also create a negative response. But like, how do you feel about seeing just from Marvel, who are so tightly lipped and about what they showcase before Spider-Man, any of the Spider-Man movies have come out? Like, how do you feel?
I'm okay with it. I hope they don't show off too much. It does seem that what they're showing off is very minimal and not spoilerific by any means. I know a lot of the reason they've been doing this is because of everything with No Way Home and everyone trying to figure out the spoilers for, spoiler 5-year-old, 4-year-old, 3-year-old movie at this point, but Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield came in and reprised their roles as Spider-Man as well.
Right.
And
I haven't seen it yet. I'm just playing.
yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where, yeah, if I just spoiled, then I'm sorry for you, but also you should watch the movie. And if you have, if you even remotely like Spider-Man or Marvel, you already have.
Right.
That movie is on like basic cable, like TNT, like every weekend at some point. They're always showing
Right.
some sort of Marvel movie of some sort. And then on to some other couple things with Contraband, a game that was announced by from Avalanche Studios. They also did Just Cause. Has announced that their game Contraband is currently on pause. Xbox and in development for the future of this game with Xbox Game Studios. I don't like the word paused here. It does feel like they are trying to. Xbox got a lot of backlash for all of everything they did with the canceling of um the Everwild game and
Yeah.
the Perfect Dark game.
Yeah.
Now you could be looking at Contraband also being canceled. Tries to just feel like they're trying to shove it in a closet or slip it underneath the cracks before people actually notice what's going on.
Right. Pause sounds like indefinitely or some other word is going to come down the road. That gives me an uneasy feeling too about Contraband.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything of the game. It was announced a couple years ago at this point, but Just Cause was always like this fun, zany GTA, skydiving and
Destroy
really,
everything.
yeah, destroy everything. Kind of the world is your oyster, and you get to destroy you get to play with it how you want to, whether it's destroying buildings or attaching yourself to to airplanes and things like that and flying at ridiculous speeds. Just Cause they were fun and free video games, and I was hoping that
Yeah.
Contraband is maybe a bit more of a grounded but also still provides some of that zaniness that you get out of it.
Right. I agree. I think I did Just Cause 3 and I can't remember how far back that is, but like I had a lot of fun with that game. Just,
Mhm.
it didn't take itself as seriously as other titles and a lot of the stuff that you just mentioned allowed more freedom in the game.
Yeah. We then have Digital Foundry is now going independent. They've now broken away from IGN. If you're someone who likes getting into the details of like how a game performs, how it looks, how hardware is performing as well, you probably already know of Digital Foundry. But Digital Foundry is a YouTube channel that is pretty much solely focused on giving the the most nerdiest stats and the most in-depth details about how a game runs on certain platforms or how a new console runs. If you're interested at all, I do highly recommend them. It some of the they do speak a little bit of jargon that even I don't understand, but they do break it down in a way where most of their videos are understandable, and I also just
Right.
enjoy seeing that side of things, someone break it down so technically.
Yeah, they they're like the who's who, when it comes to that. And you're right, it is digestible, but you do find yourself googling possibly a word or two or a process that they're talking about. So, I don't know. How do you feel about them breaking off?
Oh, I like it. It's always good to see these things. The As of late, we're starting to see more reviews out of them instead of just technical breakdowns. So breaking away from IGN, I think is a good idea from everything I've heard. Like while IGN is the biggest gaming conglomerate website in the world, really, I don't think that it's good that they had this like kind of the nerd part of it on lockdown as well. So
Right.
and maybe this allows those guys from Digital Foundry to do, more review type stuff
Right.
and give their opinion on games. They've been doing it a lot more with the Nintendo Switch 2 games coming out, but they also did it a lot with console reviews. Like if I was looking at a console review for the Switch 2 or the PS5 Pro or the Xbox Series X, like they did that. And that was kind of your definitive, like, oh, this is how my older game runs better. This is how this runs better. They were one of the reasons I got a PS5 Pro. Like
Right.
they broke things down in a way where I was like, okay, like the improvements are only going to get better,
Right.
and the games that I currently have are now more playable or more, more frames or more fun. So good for them.
Yeah, good for them, most definitely.
We then have an odd one where the delist of Genshin Impact on PS4 is coming with the uh, support being discontinued. So this is one of those things where it kind of feels a little scummy, but I get it. Genshin Impact and Hoyoverse has come out and said that the PS4 cannot like graphically handle the file sizes and everything of Genshin Impact. So they're asking you to go to the PS5 or get a PC version. It does feel kind of scummy in a way where this is a gotcha game. And if this is somebody's only console, yes, you can play it on your phone. I know. Yes, you can play it on your computer in many different aspects. There's cross progression everywhere. It kind of stinks to take it from somebody whose platform may only be a PS4. And imagine the money you spent on it as
Right.
well, especially if you're somebody who's, in what they call a whale and is
Yeah.
just pouring money and getting your 5-star, 3-star characters and then playing with them. Genshin
Right.
Impact's done a really good job of promoting their game and updating with new characters, and it's been out for years now.
It
Somebody
has.
on somebody on PS4 could have over easily 3,000 hours in
Right.
in that game. So to be told that the support is being done and now you need to be forced to get another console or move your progression, it's kind of a crappy thing to do. But
It's also weird coming, like you said, from a gotcha game that already kind of dangles that carrot in front of you to spend money on the characters. Doesn't force you. I don't want anybody to think that anybody on this podcast thinks
yeah,
that gotcha games force you to make those choices, but the enticing nature of because like I mean, I've played gotcha games and specifically from Hoyoverse, I did Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero specifically, and they do entice you, especially with the new character models and what the first 3 screens are that pop up usually when you start the game, usually like, hey, sale," that kinda thing. So, asking somebody to spend more money on a console in order to even play the game and access the game is an interesting, addition to what people would consider in terms of, having to spend money just to play a free gotcha game, you know? It's not necessarily fair. So,
yeah, the support is going to be up until February of 2026, and who knows, maybe they changed their minds or something like that, where the game could still be playable instead of just kicking you off the server. But that's the thing with these cross progression, always online worlds where if a game can't or if a console can't handle the game anymore, then you're forced to do this and forced to delist it and discontinue support.
yeah, and it's inevitable because they keep having to do an update file with every new season, every new not every new character maybe, but every new
Every
season
new
that they drop,
area,
every
yeah.
new area. So, Genshin Impact, I wonder how that looks because Zenless when I stopped playing Zenless Zone Zero, it was at well, on my PS5, it was like 80 gigs,
Mm.
I feel like, but then when you think about, like, adding and adding and adding, and I don't know. I think that's something interesting as well about gotcha worlds, like you said, just endless world that's continuously being worked on and created. So,
Yeah. And then lastly, we did have a Nintendo showcase and a Nintendo Indie World. Not much out of
mhm,
the Nintendo Indie World that I saw. We did see a couple cool games, but nothing of super note. But the Nintendo Partnership Showcase showed a lot of Square Enix games. We did get word that Apex Legends is coming to the is already there, coming to the console there. We got Persona 3 Reload is coming to Switch too as well. We then have some Square Enix games where we have Octopath Traveler 0 being announced. We had Monster Hunter Stories 3, which I'm excited for, Twisted
Oh,
Reflection.
they led with that too, didn't they?
Yeah.
They were like, "Here you go." That was a
Monster
big
Hunter
one.
2, yeah, the Monster Hunter Stories games are fun, and I'm just I'm excited the fact that it's probably gonna play a lot better and look a lot better on Switch 2 than the previous two Monster Hunter stories. And then kind of one of the announcements they left on as well, and a demo is available and I played it this week. We had Elliot and the Millennium Tales. A demo has come out. They did a little gameplay, but it's this a lot of people are calling it like a retro style live action Zelda or live action game Zelda where you're top down over an 8-bit world and your character in real time hits people for points or hit points and you eliminate enemies. It really does feel like a Zelda game in a way. And I'll give my impressions on that demo when we get there. But only thing this is like the Nintendo partnership was really lacking anything, I think, that really sells the system. We know Octopath Traveler is there, and for whatever reason, Square Enix is pumping out Octopath Traveler games. I have
Oh
never
yeah,
seen this many spin-offs or sequels in such a short period of time. I know,
right,
or at least it feels like it. Maybe it's just me who feels like Octopath Traveler 2 came out last year and
right.
now we have Zero out now, or well, coming later this year. But nothing, no Metroid news, which is
No
I was kind of
Metroid.
sad about.
Mhm.
We just haven't seen the next part of what Nintendo's plan is for this console, and I am excited for Metroid especially, but just the fact that we haven't heard anything about it, I'm hoping it's still 2025 release. I know Nintendo pretty much is just they don't need to do it because Pokemon comes out in October. And while that isn't
Yeah,
like that is a partnership and that game gets it's not like a Nintendo developed is I guess what I'm getting at. It's
right.
not their exclusive. I think
And
Square Enix really did come out and did do some solid punching and
oh
announce
yeah,
some cool things.
oh yeah. It was a Square Enix direct for sure. And um, the other thing that gets me is like 6 million Switch 2 consoles sold, and I know that there's still people out there with that device with their Switch 2 wondering maybe they're 98% done with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Maybe they're let's talk about the rarity of the demographic out there that may not was not excited for Donkey Kong Bonanza because they were not sold on the character, or maybe that's not their cup of tea. We need that big grouping, the 2 to 3 games that kind of make people feel like that investment is going to pay off in the next 9 months
Hmm.
instead of the next, maybe year and a half. So, we've gotten essentially every direct you can think of after. We've gotten a specific Donkey Kong Bonanza direct, we've gotten a partner direct, and now we've gotten an Indie World direct. I think we're wanting like the Nintendo direct,
Yeah,
just straight up show it off. You have the hardware, you have the backing. So I think that was the only thing I was missing. Also, just gotta say for my wife, Witchbrook, during the indie showcase,
yeah,
that was missing, and
yeah,
I'm going to be playing that game. My wife is excited for that game. I'm excited for that game. That looks great, and I thought that was where they were going to show more. It's supposed to come out in November, December, so that's my own personal gripe with the indie
yeah,
direct that it wasn't in there.
yeah. And then some other just smaller announcements we got. We did get FC 26 and Madden 26 will be coming. Pac-Man World 2 Repack will also be coming. We did see Chronos, the new Dawn, during Summer Games Fest, and that is coming to Switch 2. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is coming to Switch 2. We knew about Borderlands, you knew about Star Wars. The Final Fantasy Tactics, I assumed it was coming to Switch. It did say it was coming to Switch. They finally did a release trailer for it. The only other thing I was really forgetting is they released a Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade pack for Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven. So if you have that game and you have a Switch 2, I believe it's only $10 to upgrade. So if you haven't like finished it, from what I've seen from the videos, it is very much a good upgrade. It's something where
Right.
the game runs better, looks sharper. I bought Romance. I was gonna buy Romancing Saga 2 anyway. I kind of forgot about it until I saw that upgrade pack. So I bought that. The game is, I believe, $40, and then you can get the Switch upgrade the Switch 2 upgrade pack for $10. So that's still more or
Right.
less, less than most $70 games that you're gonna go with.
No, agreed. And I wanted to add one note because you were as you were going through the remaining titles, seeing Chronos: The New Dawn on the Switch too, I think was also kind of a undercover big moment because that is a game that is not out yet and has been confirmed as to not only from what I believe, I don't know if they showed Switch 2 actual footage, but the fact that Chronos: The New Dawn, which is a game I've been kind of paying attention to because it looks great, is going to come out also on the Switch too. I think that that's a good point to also take in as we're talking about wanting a Nintendo Direct and the next big thing directly from Nintendo. I think that that'll be that'll scratch the horror itch for some
Yeah.
people on the Switch too, most definitely.
And then that was all I had on news. What did you have?
I just had a couple of things. The raising of the prices for the Switch.
Yeah.
Uh, I know I sound like I have a very strong opinion with that long but I just find it very interesting that essentially pricing was raised on most things but the Switch 2. And I know that Nintendo's being very crafty about what they're doing in terms of where they're raising prices to, satisfy the climate that we're in now. But I mean, the OLED console is now $400. It went from 350 to 400. Switch went to 340 from 300. Even the Switch Lite's at 230. Uh Notable accessories, Switch One Joy-Con set is now $90. The Pro controller is
Yeah.
80. It's if you're somebody who has been waiting specifically for money purposes
Yeah, it's
to
now,
not
yeah.
get a Switch 2, now you're feeling the effects and you don't even have a Switch 2. So this creates a couple of different scenarios that I would honestly like to ask whoever's closest to me who still has a Switch and is holding off on the Switch 2, where do you go from here? Um, on the business side, I'm interested. There's got to be somebody over at Nintendo wondering how many more Switch 2 consoles they sell as a result of this, because there's going to be somebody throwing their hands up and just saying like, "Well, now I'm going to get a Switch 2 because you're edging me closer to that price anyway."
Yeah.
But I don't know. A Switch OLED console is $50 less than the Switch 2 non-bundle.
Yeah, then
Like
that's, yeah.
that's wild. That's wild to me. But I understand. I'm also not a businessman. I'm not on any board. I have not created a game console myself, nor am I distributing the game console or the fake game console that I just made up that I created. I don't know. Honestly, I mean, even amiibos are going up. So we're seeing the hit there. I don't know. How did you feel when you saw that?
Well, I can't say we don't see this coming. Me and you have talked about a lot of and other Craig as well, have talked about how this is going to affect gaming. And this is that. You're starting to see it, especially now with especially with the accessories. And the fact that and Xbox did the same thing. Now they want to charge you more money for the console now that they have an established library for it. Like, I'd be interested to see how they'll never release it. How many Xboxes have they sold since raising the price on that stuff? I can imagine not
Hmm.
very many. I'd be willing to bet less than 2 million, less than a
Right.
million most likely. It's it's what was going to happen when tariffs worldwide are getting, and now everything is more expensive. Your game console now is going to be more expensive.
Right.
The the only bright spot is that they waited for how many years before upping the price of the Switch, and how many years before upgrading the Series X. For
Right.
whatever reason, Sony is a-okay with not upping the price of their consoles, other than putting in a non-disc and a disc version, selling the disc version separately so you get the digital version of the console cheaper. There's all these things, but PS5s are still selling and Sony is still announcing those numbers, and the Switch 2 is still selling. But investors, I guess, really don't care about how well your system is doing. Any system 8-year-old to 5-year-old systems are doing anymore. They want to hear what
Right.
new hot stuff is coming out.
Yeah, I think it's weird that every group is reacting just a little bit differently. Like Sony's upping the price in certain regions
Yeah,
as a result, but like not the region.
here.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, not here. Uh, I don't know. I found it interesting. I'm a lucky enough person to not be in the boat of having to decide what to do um, with all that Switch news because I'm purchased a Switch 2, but uh, I don't know. Still interesting to me. I had some sad news. Bioshock Studio. 2K confirms that the next Bioshock game failed an internal review.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they were quoted as saying, "Here, I had it here. We have a good game. Right now, we have a good game, but we are committed to delivering a great one. So we're working closely with leadership at the studio to define this path." Anybody, including us who have played Bioshock, can understand that you got to have a story with
Yeah.
Bioshock. I mean, that's atmosphere and story. There are a couple of other nuances that you can argue. I would consider myself a supportive Bioshock fan, but not the biggest one. I mean, even actually, my wife is the biggest one. She really brought me back into those. But have a story. It just pains me to hear that it had failed an internal review. Not to mention there was a leadership change at 2K Games, and there was apparently a remake of the first BioShock that was in development but got shelved, which is also not necessarily a good sign. I think a lot of us would like to see a remake on newer hardware for that. I mean, it's Rapture, man.
Mm-hmm.
Rapture in 2025 would be fantastic. It was great
Yeah.
back then. So I don't know. That makes me sad to see. Bioshock, we're always supporting. I guess we're going to take Judas and all other Bioshock adjacent games to help fill that void until 2K get rolling again with that. But I don't know. That was sad to see. Um, you see anything about the Battlefield 6 beta weekend or open beta?
Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of cheaters, more so than expected. But 521,000 concurrent PC players at the peak. So I'm all for keeping a level playing field. So I kind of hope Battlefield 6 has a softer, more well received drop when
Me
it
too.
because Call of Duty is monopolizing the game um a little bit now more so than ever. So I hope that, and especially for the Battlefield core base, because I feel like they have a dedicated fan base that has been with them for a long time. So I didn't have a chance to do it. I don't know if you had a chance to do the early access or,
Nope.
but
I did not.
competition is always healthy. So I'm hoping that this one shows up. So, but I think that's all I had besides the Nintendo Directs and or Indie Directs and all that.
Yeah. So then we can go into games played this week or the last 2 weeks. So I have Mafia: The Old Country, and then I did play Elliot: The Millennium Tales
Okay, for
demo.
me the big one. I'm still going through Donkey Kong. I am like I think two or three
Gotcha.
worlds or whatever you call them ahead or away. And for me, it's Mafia. My wife and I have been joking a bunch about how we're going to Italy. So
Yeah. Right.
we went to Italy. We went to Italy, and I can't wait to talk about it with you. But why don't we go through the one demo first, and then we
Yeah.
can
So
talk
the
about it.
so the demo gives you a little bit of what's going on. I have no idea really what the story is beyond the opening little bit here. You're pretty much told like, oh, there's stuff going on outside in the world, and the king and princess hire a explorer to go and do it. And Elliot just shows up, really, and they're like, you were recommended. It's like, yeah, I'll go, and then you're out in the world. Like, it's not, there isn't a lot of story just yet. I do know that it probably expands somewhere. There needs to be a story at some point, and we kind of got that in the trailer for for it. It's kind of one of those mysterious type things. But I do like it. There are a lot of fun portions to it. Elliot has a sword that charges up much like Link that does multi slashes. You hit enemies and you get like for hit points and they eventually die. The game has a couple cool mechanics that I like where one, the more enemies you kill in succession without being hit causes a drop bonus. So as you continue to hit enemies, you will get more money or more gemstones based on or magic or I think it's called magicite based on your drop bonus. They also have challenge rooms where you have to dodge through a bunch of arrows with your shield or with the help of the little fairy that moves you along. I do have to say the little fairy's adorable. I hate it. I hate how adorable it is. It's just like I like this
Nice.
thing, but the fairy is also a separate movable character where I can have it go across somewhere to hit a switch and
Oh, that's
then that
nice.
stops something. So
Okay.
it's otherwise she can attack on her own as well and she like is able to fly and do things on her own. It gives me this little what was the game? I want to say it's cerveza, but that's the word that's the Spanish word for beer. Um
Right.
it's the
Wait, are you
one
talking about the Bayonetta one?
Yes, the Bayonetta game. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Bayonetta
yeah,
and
yeah.
the
The
Forgotten
Cer-
World. But
yeah, the Cerveza
Cereza,
game. Yeah.
Cereza, I think is it. But it's one of those things where yeah, the analog stick can move it, but it's just not as frustrating because the fairy always comes back to you, and you can tell it to go away, you can tell it to stay put, or to have it follow you. So there's a bit more control in it. This is one of the demos where I wasn't sure what they were showing off during the showcase, but after playing the demo, I was like, this is fun. This is a fun game. This can be fun to play. I just want to see a bit more story out of it. But the
Right.
little gameplay elements that you can do with the fact that your fairy can kind of fly away from you and attack on its own and do things for you. She even does like a push that acts like this extreme sprint that you really can't control. You just bounce off of stuff afterward. You bounce off of obstacles, and she goes like, "Oh, that must have hurt" every time.
Yes. Nice.
So, but yeah, Elliot, the Millennium Tales. If you're even slightly interested, just try the game out. I was afraid it. The one thing that I'm getting a little burnt on are these HD 2D, 2.5D type games where
Right.
Octopath Traveler is the bread and butter for what it is right now. But Elliot kind of seems like the next step in
Right.
what that type of game can be. And it's just a little
Okay.
bit more action oriented as well. It's a bit more it's not like run into an enemy, do a bunch of combat, keep going. You can skip enemies if you want, or you
Right.
can work on your drop bonus and work to get a huge drop. And the bosses are kind of like, because you do it this way, the bosses are almost like a near type thing where you're dodging, orbs and elements and all of these flying things while the boss is like jumping around the stage and things like that. So
Right.
it's got a little bit of all these different types of genres that really seems to meld in really well in a surprising way.
When's the release date for that? Or
Elliot.
around?
Yeah,
Does it have
so
one?
I know I had, let's see here, demo 2. You going to give me the release date?
Wait, has it been released?
It hasn't been released yet.
Okay.
The it's showing the demo came out. It's just providing me the demo. It hasn't given me a to be released yet
Got
or
it.
the date for it. Just shows that the debut demo is out.
Okay.
Which usually means a game isn't too far behind either.
Right. Okay.
But let me just look that up here just real quick just to see if we can get the release date for it, if there is one. Release date 2026. So yeah, it's still
I'm
Just
gonna
a
keep
little
an
bit
eye
away.
out for that. I'll probably try that demo too.
Yeah. Then Mafia,
You going to Italy?
Italy. Italy time.
Uh I like this game.
Yes.
I know exactly what it is. The first thing that struck me as interesting is that it went to quite a linear progression. I didn't know that it was going to be fully that. I tried to stay away from really any information about it. But historically, Mafia kind of takes 75% to full Grand Theft Auto, where it's just like go do what you need to. This marker will be waiting when you get back as the
Yes.
main mission.
So when it comes to that, Mafia 1 was very linear.
Okay.
And then Mafia 2 took it to like that next step. And then when they released Mafia 3, it was like full,
Yeah, they
open
were like
world type
explore
thing.
the bayou.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah,
were like explore everything. Um Okay, so they went back to the roots there as to Mafia 1, which I think works, to be honest with you, because it allows you to stay engrossed in what I consider to be a strong point of the game, which is the story and characters.
yeah,
I kind of like not having to stop and veer off of the path just to find the extra person so that they can tell me to go here, to go like the game already has like go here, talk to this person, go here, sneak around here kind of thing. So I enjoy the linear nature of it. I think that we jump back on this podcast a lot to actually appreciating a linear game that knows it is
yeah.
and is
That appreciates
content
our
with
time.
delivering that.
Yeah,
Exactly. As a result, I'm completely engrossed. My wife and I are playing it at the same time, so we're around the same mission at all
yeah,
times, which kind of helps in that aspect as well. And we're blowing through the game. Not that it's a long one, but we're blowing through it. And let me jump back to the characters. Enzo, very believable person. Big fan of Luca. Big
yeah,
fan of Luca. He's the guy that kind of sees you for who you are and helps you through understanding the process of joining a family.
yeah,
Um, and the game is beautiful. It looks great. They made Italy look really, really nice. I noticed there's not really any rain patterns in the
yeah,
game. They kind of just do sunny and nighttime, which is fine because I enjoy that countryside. And then a couple of small nuances. I don't know about you. Started with horseback riding, but as soon as they give you the car option, I've been taking cars out. The shifting gears, the accuracy for how not polished cars are at that
yeah.
time frame is something that I kind of appreciated, even though it brought some frustration when you're doing some of the high speed stuff that the game had to offer. But I like it. I like it a lot. I like it. It told me what it is. It's like when you meet somebody for the first time and they're like, "Hi, this is kind of my personality type," just so that you know, so that whatever I say to you, that's how the intent is. That's how this game felt to me, and I love it. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, Mafia, the old country. Now, I have not played any of the old Mafia games. The more I continue to play this, I have Mafia Definitive Edition, so I think I do need to play it in in the end here. But you are absolutely right. Like the first thing I notice is how pretty this game is. Like they did a fantastic job of making it like very Italy, but also throwing in like color of flower fields and color of flower here. It is it is a really believable depiction of early 1900s Italy. And that's what I think I like the most about it. My I guess where we differ is I actually prefer the horseback riding. I prefer to do the
Nice,
horseback riding because it just I think it's an easier it's not as a hands-on way and I can enjoy looking around because that's what during the moments where you are driving to your next objective or going to the next objective in general, I like looking around and like appreciating what this world looks like. There's a little bit of pop in. I am playing on a PS5 Pro, but it is smooth and it looks really really good. Like this is another one of those games where I was like this you don't have to push it to its limits to look that good, but it's performing well and I think it's just this beautiful landscape that I've never gotten to experience. I don't know what it's like in Italy, and I highly doubt going to Italy now would look like what it looks like in that game. It's a lot more
Right.
populated, a lot more roads, for
Right.
sure. I
Uh,
I, re- I really like everyone in the game.
yeah.
I know Cesare is not supposed to be the likable person, but I know what he's there for. And like I can kind of tell where the game is going. I hope that it's not as predictable as it looks. But we're all a bit of Enzo. We're all rooting for Enzo and Isabella. Um, but
Isabella's awesome.
Don Teresi, he is like,
I love him. I
yeah,
I love him. Good decision or bad. Like you dislike some of his decision or thought process sometimes, but as a Don, to a T. Like,
yeah. I'm not. You guys are probably farther in the game than I am. The only person I really dislike is the really old man
oh
that
yeah,
just
Tiso,
yeah
T
Tizo yeah yeah, you're right.
yeah.
But it's him because he just treats us like an a-hole. He's
Right.
uh he's always I remember I stopped doing something for a moment and Tizo's yelling at you like, start going, go and do this, what are you waiting
Right.
for? And it's
Right.
just like, bro, I'm just
Yeah, like bro,
let
let's
me
pump
enjoy
the
the
brakes
game. Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Right.
Enzo needs a moment before he goes in and does all this.
Right.
Really, the only bad part I have to say about the game is the stealth is pretty lackluster. I do find myself trying to go stealth, but the moment I'm bored, I just go shooting. Just
Right.
because it is a bit more interactive and fun to shoot. Just because the stealth gameplay is pretty much get behind someone, mash the
Choke them
square
out.
button, a little too
Right.
much if you ask me.
Yeah, it's a lot. It
Yeah,
is a
there's
lot.
a lot of mashing the square button here. And throwing that body away and then moving to the next person. Like the stealth gameplay is very looped. At this point I just wish they did a little bit more with like the throwing knife portion of things, and that's a weapon you need to pick from. And that's a weapon that doesn't have as much durability. So with low durability, you might not be able to open that chest that has a bunch of money or denarii in it. So you have to keep that
Right.
in mind when you're deciding on what to do. I do know, and I've read a lot of reviews that said like you either seem to like the game or you're disappointed in the fact that it didn't do more. Um,
Right.
I
Right.
I find it kind of hard to do anything else with stealth. Like they really just should have made it where your knife, durability matters when you're breaking locks, but it allows you to not have to, you can stealth kill without having to mash the square button 700 times, during
Yeah.
each individual choke out. So that
Yeah.
that's the only mixed portion I have on it, because the gunplay is like very realistic to where guns are not as accurate. You need to be aiming down the sight to
Yeah.
shoot it. The control scheme was a little counterintuitive for me. I did have a lot of trouble figuring out like, oh no, I've thrown a grenade when I meant to throw a little, bottle or penny in order to get their
I
attention.
noticed that too. I noticed
Um,
that too. Yeah.
Switching weapons is also kind of a weird one where it's L1, and depending on your weapon, sometimes you can have two shotguns, and sometimes it's a repeater and a pistol that you can have. So it's a little hard to gauge what it is you can carry and what it is you can do with each weapon. But overall, the game looks spectacular. I am enjoying the storyline that's going on with it, and just hope that my time with it, I continue to enjoy it, so that way I can go straight into Mafia the Definitive Edition. Because based off the reviews I've heard, Mafia, the Definitive Edition remake, is like is better than
Right.
this game. So I'm all for it, and a part of me does wish that I tried the Mafia series earlier, but
Right.
I guess as I've gotten older, now I'm into like the Mafia stuff and not so much, I don't want to drive in a early 1900s vehicle and shoot Tommy guns and
Right.
shake my hands and make Italian references.
Yeah.
It is
I
funny how close the language is to Spanish, because like the curse word for crap or the S word is like the same in Spanish. So
right.
it's funny how you just like drop a vowel and I'm like, oh, I know what they're saying.
Yeah. I've been kind of saying stuff around my house. I'll just walk around. I'll be like Enzo,
Yeah.
like like I'm somebody who I love the Italian culture. I've always kind of gravitated to that, and I think they're doing a great depiction of that too. In the landscape and in how the story progresses. So hats off to them there. This is, I think, going to be my game that I am going to cite as one that I really enjoyed. But I'm not surprised when it comes down to my top five if it's not in there, or if we look at the game awards and it maybe wins one, nominated for two.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I think that this is a game that you should just sometimes enjoy games without sitting and trying to figure out how they did or did not do what they were supposed to do. I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's poppin', game looks beautiful, story's fine. I'm dedicated to the characters. I kind of don't want anybody to die, but it's a mafia game, so somebody is at some point, right? But yeah, it makes me want to go back and play the first one as well. So I'm having fun.
But yeah, then we'll head to movies and TV shows. Unless was there anything else you needed to add about Donkey Kong, or you're getting
No,
there?
I'll do the full thoughts on it when I beat it.
Yeah.
But I'm like right there, man.
Yeah.
I'm right. I can feel it based on the story.
Yeah. Movies and TV shows then. I don't have much to say other than I haven't really watched any movies. I did pick up Kaiju number 8. I kind of binge watched season 1 and season 2 is out now on Crunchyroll, but other than that, I did not watch much.
All right, I have two quick ones, and then I have something that I think you'll like that I'll save for after those two quick ones.
Okay.
It'll be Craig's announcement to Barry Corner. I don't know.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. That sounded weird. Anyway, so the first one is the Pickup. It's that 2025 heist movie that literally just came out last week. It's got Eddie Murphy. It's got Pete Davidson, also Eva Longoria and Kiki Palmer.
Yeah.
Enough of a cast to make me want to watch it. It's fun. It's your standard heist movie with a couple of quick one-liners. Eddie Murphy has not delivered the funniest line that he has in his comedic career, but it's there. I think if you want something that's, I don't know, a good feel-good story, good banter between Eddie and Pete Davidson specifically. They're on a truck that is transporting millions of dollars from a
Mhm.
casino to or a bank to a casino or whatever, and it gets obviously hijacked. I think if you like one of these actors or actresses that I just named, that you should just watch it. It's a nice, fun, quick one. Keeps you engrossed from beginning to end. Good buddy comedy, that type of thing. So that's a fun one, and it's free. So why not? I
Yeah.
think it's Prime, free and Prime. The other one that I watched is Hell of a Summer. This is technically a 2023 horror film, comedy horror film, but it got released by Neon in April
Mhm.
officially. So it's technically, I guess, a 2025 film as well. This was the one. It was written and directed by Billy Burke and Finn Wolfhard, who has probably the most powerful age 13 to 20 career of anybody, because he got it and he got Stranger Things. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a child actor or actress, you got it and you got Stranger Things. But this was kind of a love project that they wanted to release for a while. It's your classic slasher with comedy in there. um I thought that some of the horror was predictable. Like, I mean, anytime you have a slasher, you have an audience that's looking and deciphering and breaking down who is the slasher. So you're going to run into that anyway. But I think it's a fun story of a little coming to age too. A couple of people are dating in the midst too. So, like,
Mhm.
that coming of age story there. But it's a nice fun one, and it's even more fun to know that it was just a film that they weren't trying to get to the Oscars with. They just wrote it and they wanted to drop it together, and they got a good cast to do so. So that's a good one. Hell of a Summer. Since we're approaching September and October, and in our household we watch a scary movie at night, essentially starting in September, I think that this would be a mid-September watch in
Gotcha.
terms of where you would want to place it. Um And then that leads me to the announcement. My wife surprised me last night, Barry, and I think that you'll find that you'll love it too. She turned over to me. She was like, "You know what, Craig? I think I want to get into like anime more and manga." And I was like, "Oh." And she was like, "I think I want to, in order to bridge that gap, I think I want to start watching some horror anime to get me to it." And I was like, "Could I wish Barry could be here right now?" Because for the longest time, like I don't know if it's seeing things like Persona 5 or like the video game that really kind of takes animation or
Yeah.
anime to a different level, but um, I'm so proud of her. Just unprompted, she's like, "I think I want to get into anime." Um, and I think I want to help bridge that gap to be the horror side, and then there's other animes that I can get it to. So we started going down some that she could watch, some of the bigger ones like Death Note that are more popular. But we're also kind of exploring other stuff that entices her, and maybe there'll be a point where she's watching all different types of anime, and we can have you and her be doing an anime corner on this podcast.
Yeah, to
Uh,
be honest, I recently watched a video, and I don't watch too much horror anime, but there is one that came out this season that apparently is quite well received. Um I'll have to get back to you on
Yeah,
which
yeah,
one it
shoot it to
is.
me. We're still in the list creation stage. So like I, for example, recommended Zom 100.
Yeah, not
Art
so much horror, but definitely a fun.
Yeah, art style will probably get her into it. Death Note is a little bit darker. I mentioned Parasite and she wrote it down. That's a popular one. I loved that one. But I know there's some others waiting there in the midst. Would you consider Demon Slayer horror
No.
or action? Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, that's
It's shonen, yeah. It's a shonen one. Yeah, I'll have to figure out that list. What it and maybe this will help you find it, but what it is the basis of the story is the main character's world gets flipped around when his best friend is replaced by an alien, and there's all this like really like body like horror type stuff where it's really weird stuff in general, but also like this like the body horror is apparently very very good. um once i
okay.
once I figure out that one, I will recommend it to you because I think you'd
Yeah,
like
throw it my way, man. Yeah, because I want to. I when you hear when your wife unprompted turns to look at you and just says, "I want to get into more anime," teardrop.
it. Yeah.
So send me anything,
Mm.
because I'd love to introduce you to that world. Because once you start, you feel like you're like, oh my god, why have I not been? Why have I not been? So
Yeah, it's one of those things where you'll experience and you'll find she'll kind of figure out, and you both will, how you like to watch it. Where for me, I do like sub in some general cases because it forces you to pay attention, or else you're not gonna have no idea what's going on because you don't understand what they're saying. Um, the benefit of doing a dub is that, or listening or watching the dub version of any anime, is that you're able to go and pick up a drink and get your or get your food and have it still
it's a good point.
playing while going through it. So I don't know if there's a dub for this. I imagine not yet, but I will recommend it to you and we'll figure it out.
Okay, that
So
sounds like a plan.
speaking of anime, Kaiju number 8, while not a horror, is a really fun just action anime where Japan is constantly invaded with kaiju type creatures, these gigantic creatures. Sometimes they're gigantic, sometimes humanoid. The kaiju is based on a level of, I guess, threat. You reach a certain threshold, you're a kaiju. Reach below that threshold, you're a honju or a yoju. Can't believe I remembered that. Regardless, um, but pretty much the story is guy is given up. He's not going to make it into their kaiju fighting army. One night, and we still don't really know why or what's going on. Uh, when you are a kaiju, you get numbered, and hence kaiju number 8 here in here. It is a parasite that takes over the gentleman, and while he is in like he's in a kaiju form, he still like is himself. So it's not like he's taken over by it. Uh he just has this form or ability now. So he's kind of dealing with it, but the whole point is that he
Right.
finally gets into the army, and you get to kind of experience all that as well with him. It's
Okay.
a lot of fun, and it's very well animated. I enjoy Kaiju number 8. If
Okay.
you if I think you both would enjoy it. It is probably one of the most high profile anime that have come out within recent years. Season 1 was very much well received when it first came out, and season 2, what's nice is Crunchyroll is actually doing the dub at the same time. So
Okay.
every Saturday you get a new episode with the sub or the dub. I've been watching it in dub and it's fairly good. So
I respect
hopefully
that.
maybe you
Okay.
guys will enjoy that. We'll see.
Yeah, I appreciate that recommendation. Also the sub or dub as well. That's something that I've totally forgot because I gravitate to sub for the authenticity,
Yeah.
but I didn't even think because like there may be one or two that she does want to watch when she realizes that the dub and the sub are because obviously there are animes out there that are revered for having a like a close rendition for both, or at least
Yeah.
a healthy rendition for both with the voice actors on both sides and actresses. So yeah, a lot
Yeah,
to consider.
the lines for such have very now blurred, where I
Right,
think um where you used to hear the same voice actor in every anime, I do believe that there is a decent amount of voice actors out there now where
right,
it's not the same person's voice and you're getting him mixed up with Tanjiro from Demon Slayer or Naruto or, Ichigo from Bleach. So
right.
everyone has their own thing there, but like you'll watch it how you do. I like a mixture. Once I start with one version, I'll stay with it. Like Demon Slayer for me, it's always going to be the sub. I love the sub for Demon Slayer. I won't do dub, and that's got nothing to do with the bad portion. But actually, speaking of, because you got me thinking of it, they announced that Channing Tatum is a voice actor in the new Demon Slayer movie.
Say what?
Yeah, he's one of the voice actors. I just find um and then I going down the rabbit hole, I guess his daughter is a big Demon Slayer fan. So they were like at the premiere for the Japanese version
I
earlier
love that.
earlier this year.
Love that.
So I guess probably the English people saw that and was like, get him, have him voice someone kind of deal.
Right,
So I won't spoil who it is. You can look it up on your own, but you're nowadays you get more high profile voice actors than ever before in a lot of these series. So
right,
it's nice to see Demon Slayer is getting some high profile voice actors as well, or just actors in general who do it.
right.
But that is going to be it for this week. If you are listening on your podcast listening platform of choice, please make sure to leave a like, a review, a star rating. Let us know what you think. You can leave comments on those podcast listening platforms about your opinions on Digital Foundry splitting out, Xbox Studio pausing Contraband, or any of the Pokemon stuff. The Pokemon World Championships goes from the 15th to the 17th, and there will most definitely be a breakdown of everything that happens by me when we next do the podcast because I love that stuff. And if you are watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. Feel free to comment below, and I'm always looking at the comments and always looking to engage in conversation if you'd like. So we appreciate you guys always supporting us every week as you have. We hope you enjoy the show, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
See you.